feels so silly again, trying to start this, but here we are. Hi. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome or welcome back. I guess that's a thing that we can say now, that I can say now to you. I'm Maggie. I am a knitter. I'm a knitting teacher and a mother. I live in Chicago, and yeah, today's like a special surprise episode. I have been kind of itching a little bit to film again, which surprised me. I wasn't really anticipating that. I thought that I would just kind of do like a monthly podcast video, but I have been kind of like itching to do another one. I don't really see it being sustainable in my life to do a video every single week, but I feel like, you know, if you get 2 episodes a month or 2 little somethings, then why not? It could be great. It could flop too. I mean, let's be real. Who knows? But anyways, okay, so here we are. I thought, based off of my first podcast episode, that I would talk to you a little bit more about my languishing whips, because that is something that I want to try and concentrate on, like finishing a languishing whip, something that has been sitting around for a long time, a work in progress that I've been ignoring, that I want to finish. So here we are. I'm going to go through my basket of languishing whips with you. I also want to say like a little disclaimer that it is rush hour right now and I live near a train line, so you will probably hear the train. It's just like a reality of living in the city, but I hope it's not too bothersome. And if it is, you can keep that to yourself, because I'm never going to be able to make it quiet. It's just always going to be noisy. Living in a city, there's always a dog, or a plane, or a person, or a train. So, okay, I'm not going to start with this one. Let's see. Here's one to start with. So this is my camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I started this like a year ago, almost a year ago, and knit on her a lot up until basically the end of summer. I just kind of always had this around and I was knitting, and decided to hibernate it for the winter because I just didn't see the point of working on it if I wasn't going to get to wear it right away when I was done, which is kind of silly. Like, sometimes I think that it's a little silly how we plan out all of our knitting. Like, shouldn't we be knitting for summer during the winter and knitting for winter during the summer so that we have those things to wear? And then maybe just like knit the things that inspire you in the season. But I'm kind of looking at this being like, I should have been knitting on it all winter and really finished it up so I could wear it now. But I'm knitting this in Knitting for Olive merino in the color cream. And I think that my plan is just to finish this ball on the body. I've tried it on and it is long enough. And then I will finish this ball on the body. I will start a new ball, do my bind off right away, and then start doing all of the double knitting, which I'm really not looking forward to, on both of the armholes and around the neck. And so I feel like if I can just get myself to do it. But you know, fingering weight, 2x2 rib, it's not a picnic. Like, this is a product knit, not a process knit for me. I learned a lot of cool new skills from it. Like, this was the first thing that I ever like laddered down because I made a mistake for. I had a couple of stitches that I had accidentally done a purl where it needed to be a knit, and you can see this marker right here. I had a purl here and I laddered down all the way because I was just going to live with it. I was like, whatever, I can never fix this. And then I learned about the concept of laddering down, and I decided to try it. And I was like, well, if I mess it up, I guess I mess it up, and it just is what it is. But yeah, so this is probably ready to be my next to knit on. But the thing is that I'm still working on my mini mock neck. I cast that on since I last saw you. And 2 fingering weight tank tops might send me over the edge. So I don't know, we'll see. I need to finish my mini mock neck, and then maybe I can pick this up, because I am teaching 2 mini mock neck classes this summer, one in June, one in July. So my June knitting will not be as heavy as my May knitting has been, because I've been working on a lot of projects for June, July, and August this month. So June knitting will be a little more relaxed, which I think will be nice. I'll be able to do a little more me knitting. Okay, so now I guess I will talk about this. The one I didn't want to talk about before. And this is a musselburgh hat that I am knitting in Chaos yarn. I'm not sure what the colorway is. I'll have to look it up and write it in the description for you. But I started knitting this, and I definitely did not gauge swatch, because who gauge swatches for a hat? But I know it's a fingering weight merino, organic merino wool, and my gauge is way too big, and so this just ended up being so huge, and I was like, I'm not gonna want to wear this like flaccid hat. And I thought, even like folded into itself and on me, it was just going to look disproportionate, way too big for my head. So I decided to abandon it, which is what has happened. And my plan is to frog it and then cast on probably smaller needles and smaller size. But I just haven't had the motivation. Doesn't spark joy anymore. So here she rests. Next is, this is one that is probably going to sit on my needles, because as you'll see, there's a bit of a pattern for me with languishing whips. But here we go. So this is an Alex hood. And I started knitting this Alex hood with my friend Barrett. We met through the holiday sock yarn swap exchange 2 Christmases ago. And we have stayed in touch. And we both decided together to cast on the Alex hood. And she, first of all, she cast hers on first, of course. She got way farther than I did. By the time that I had even cast on, I think she was like almost done with hers. And then she finished finished hers. And here mine is. So I have finished both of the scarf parts, and next is the hood part. But I think that this will probably sit and wait until next fall. That's my guess. I don't think that I'm going to have the motivation or want to knit this or knit on this probably until next fall. I do want to finish it because I think that it is something that I will use, something that I would wear and would enjoy wearing, but I don't think that it's going to be something that I am like pining for this summer. So I think it's just gonna sit probably for a while. I'm knitting it with Sandnes Garn Tin Pure Gint. I think this is called petroleum something. Again, I'll put that in the description for you so that you can get the exact color if you'd like. And so I'm also using Sandnes Garn Soft Silk Mohair with it together. The fabric is nice. It's not like the most delicious thing I've ever felt in my whole entire life. I really love Pure Gint. Obsessed with it. Like if I had to choose one yarn to knit with for the rest of my life, it would be Shelter by Brooklyn Tweed, R.I.P. But then next, it would be Pure Gint. I just love Pure Gint. It's so nice, it's so hard wearing, it's great for kid knits, it's great for grown-up knits. Feels like a good wool. It's just so nice. I love it. So the knitting experience is very nice. But I just don't think I'm gonna have the motivation to knit this until next fall. And you know what? That's okay. Ooh, she's tangled. Oh, and look, I even left myself a nice little hard candy treat for the next time that I open this up. And what else is in here? Some snips. Oh, this is one of my favorite needles. So I'm actually going to take this, put that up, put that in my current knitting bag. Okay. Let's see. Who are you? Oh. This one is a little sad. This is one of my favorite baby sweaters to knit. This is Micah's raglan sweater by Hannah G Knits. I love this sweater. I have knit this sweater multiple times for multiple babies that my friends have had, for my own. I just love this sweater so much. The cable is so cute. It's really fun at the raglan, like doing this at the raglan increase. The pattern is extremely easy to read. This is actually a pattern that I taught for a class this past winter. And this was a sweater that I was knitting for a baby that I was pregnant with at the time. And unfortunately for a baby that I am no longer pregnant with right now. So I was in the process of knitting this for that baby and for the class that I was teaching. And when I lost that baby, this project became really, really hard for me to knit. And so I put it away with the hope that the next time that I pick it up that I would be pregnant again. And that has not happened for me so far. It has been 3 months, 4 months, and so I don't know. I have thought about finishing this and giving it to another baby that is coming. I have lots of people in my life that are having children right now, and so I have thought about that. When I purchased this yarn, I actually got one ball as like a mystery ball at a secondhand craft store that is near my house. And so I bought this as a mystery. I could tell that it was Malabrigo, but I wasn't sure whether it was Rios or Arroyo. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Arroyo because it seemed thinner to me. And I made an order at One.co for a sweater quantity to make this sweater for one of my sons. And when it came, I was like, oh, I actually think that's the exact same color as the yarn that I got at the craft store. And so I like put them out together, and for sure they looked exactly the same. So my plan was to make matching sweaters for all of my children with this yarn. So that's a possibility as well. It is Malabrigo Arroyo in the color Sandbank. And it's a really nice kind of like gray, kind of taupe, kind of like even a little purple in some light, but just a really nice neutral. And yeah, so I have hope and confidence that I will pick this up and be able to finish it for a baby that I love, whether that be my own or the child of one of my friends. But yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to kind of look at, a hard one to know that it's sitting around, you know, not because I don't want to knit it, but because I don't feel ready to knit it. Yeah. But, you know, things happen, and yeah. Okay, next. The last one, oh, this is just yarn. It ended up in the basket. I don't know if it's actually languishing, but it is yarn. I mean, I just showed this to you, so it's not really languishing, but it is yarn for my son's holger cardigan, which maybe now that I have finished my husband's hat, I will bring this out and start carrying this around with me. The hard part is that this just like requires a lot of stuff for me to carry around, so it's not a great travel project, and I just haven't felt super motivated to knit on it at home. But I do, this one is hanging over me a little bit, and I would really like to finish it, so I think that that is a good idea, and I'm glad that not that it's really a conversation, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because now I'm just going to take this here, and I'm definitely going to finish it. And I'm not really going to talk about that because we just talked about it, right, in my previous podcast. So there you have it. Those are my languishing whips. There's 4 of them. I guess it seemed like there was more in my mind, but I'm in denial that that doesn't seem that bad. Does it seem bad? It doesn't seem that bad. The other thing about going through this is that I realized I need to go through and take all of my needles off of the cords, and maybe even like switch things from like nice cords to barber cord or scrap yarn or something, so that I have those available for other knitting things, because I am definitely a person who will be like, I don't have a 14-inch cord, and I just buy a new one rather than trying to like track down my old ones. So yeah, I think that that would be a good idea, and I think that that's what I'll do. Let me go get the hat. I'll show you the hat. Okay, here we are. Here is the hat. This is the Manhattan hat by Tori that I knit for my husband in Sorella, classic worsted in the color Phoenicia Diner, from the Upstate New York collection from last fall. So this is the hat in its entirety, and I think that I discussed how my plan was to finish all of the crown decreases, finish the crown, like finish this all up, and then pick out the cast on edge, put it back on the needles, and then just knit until I had no yarn left. And that is what I did. I don't know what happened during the pickup of that edge, but as you can see, I picked it up incorrectly, and there is this line, and I knew that it was there, and I just decided that I could not be bothered. I wanted to finish this hat so badly. I was so over it, so tired, and then as I was knitting it, I was like, oh, well, you know what, maybe I'll get lucky, and like, since the plan was for this to be a triple fold brim, that line will end up in the fold and no one will see it. And no, the knitting gods, they said you don't get to get off that easy. Here it is. It's going to be right in the middle of your fold. And again, I just decided that I didn't care and I could not be bothered. I have plans to knit him another hat in a wool that lights me up inside, gets me excited to knit for him. Seeing it on him is so cute. It looks perfect on his head, and I just love it. I feel really happy that I finished it. He's really happy that he gets to wear it. I did do something a little different with the crown decreases, because I have knit this hat multiple times, like 3 or 4 times now, and I'm never happy with the way that it looks at the top. I have tried, the pattern gives you 2 methods of decreasing. I have tried both methods. I have not found that either one, that one is neater than the other. I remember in a podcast from a couple months ago that Amy from Knits was saying that she also found these decreases and the grafting at the end to be not as neat as she would have hoped. And so I was like, screw it, I'm not even gonna try to make this like neat and perfect. I just ended up taking the tail end of the yarn and weaving it through the last couple of stitches and tightening it up, kind of like a classic hat. So it comes here to like a little circle spot. And when you flip it inside out, you can see like where it was tightened and tied up here. But so I was nervous that it would look stupid, and I am happy to report that it does not look stupid. It actually looks very, very cute. So if you are someone who has also had trouble with the grafting at the end, might I suggest that you just tie it up like a classic hat instead, because it still looks very cute. And yeah, his sailing season has not started yet, so he hasn't been able to wear it out on the boat, but I'm very excited for him to do that, because I just can't wait to hear how he likes it. And how warm it keeps his head. I mean, even my hand in here is like sweating almost. It's very warm inside. So yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that I should share. If you like this kind of like little video, let me know. If you're enjoying seeing this is my craft area. I also do a little bit of sewing, so I have my sewing table here. These are yarns that I'm like excited to start knitting with. I have all of my fabric in here and a couple pairs of pants that I need to fix or mend as well. And then this is some, but not all of my yarn stash. This is where I keep my sock yarns and like kind of quick grab stuff. And then I keep all of my sweater quantities of yarn in like a tote under my bed. So yeah, if you would be interested in seeing like a yarn tour, let me know. I don't know if people like that. Sometimes I like that. I like hearing about people's yarn and like where they bought it, stuff like that. So if you would like a yarn tour, I could give you a yarn tour. I have these 1, 2, 3 are all sock yarns. I have a lot of sock yarn. Yeah, or like a sweater quantity yarn tour. I have a lot of sweater quantity yarn that some has plans, some doesn't have plans. But yeah. Thanks for being here, and I hope I get to see you again soon. Bye.